And I just want to know, as the leaders of your respective parties on Capitol Hill, are you finding it tough to believe anything these guys from BP have to say anymore?
Certainly, BP has not been accurate in its representations. It has been misleading in its representations. What has happened is outrageous, and the American public are correctly very, very angry. And the administration has been marshaling every asset that we have available to work on this program. I hope he's right. The American public hopes he's right. A trickle. I don't know what a trickle is. But certainly a very, very substantial reduction. BP said they could handle 250,000 barrel spill. They weren't able to handle what they said was initially a 5,000, which then went to 20 or 25, and now we think is a much greater spill than that.
Well, Stenny, guess what? I agree wholeheartedly with you. The American people want this oil leak stopped now. They want to know what happened. They want the Gulf cleaned up, and they want it all done now. And I just think that BP ought to be held responsible for all of the costs that are involved in this. I said that right from the beginning, and I continue to believe that. I'm not sure that the federal government, though, isn't also responsible. The laws that were in place, the materials that should have been in place for a spill this size were not. And the reaction, I think, on the part of the administration has been slow. But having said that, it's time to get this thing stopped now.
All right, so just to clear up what you said earlier this week, on Thursday, you said that the BP and the federal government should take full responsibility. To clarify that, you think BP needs to pay?
I've said from the beginning, BP needs to pay for the entire cost of this. But the federal government, this is a failure of government. Government is there to protect our shores, to protect our environment, and there's been a real failure here. We've been asking for 55 days. Where's the inspection reports from this rig? The administration won't give them to us.
The Democrats are pushing a bill to lift the liability. Right now it's at $75 billion. Democrats are pushing a bill to lift the liability cap. Do you support that?
I believe that lifting the liability cap on BP and for this bill is appropriate. I have concerns.
So lift it entirely for BP?
Absolutely. They should be held responsible for every dime of this cost.
Let me say a few words here. First of all, the Republicans have been holding up lifting the cap in the Senate from the 75 million, minuscule sum, as we see, to 10 billion. Secondly, I think John Boehner is right in this respect. The psychology of neglect in terms of regulatory oversight that was pursued in the Bush administration, which led to the banking failure, insurance prices going way up, and oil companies thinking they could do whatever they wanted because the drill baby drill crowd, all they wanted to do was to drill. So I think John's right. I think the regulatory psychology of the last administration was not appropriate, and there were mistakes made in this administration as well.
How long are you going to blame the Bush administration? Come on. What's going on over at MSS?
As long as they're responsible, and whether it's the economy or the lack of oversight, John, I'm going to do that.
When is someone in Washington going to take responsibility for what they are in charge of?
And the administration has done.
I want to move